want to say thank you so much to Pastor Torres, the extraordinaire. One thing that I can say about Torres is that, you meet some people in life and they're just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to give it all I got and go forward, and I'm not going to look back. And that is what I've been able to watch Torres do, like with the front row seat for the last, 2 or 3 years. And it's been a joy to watch. And I am not shocked by any of the success that Torres is having, because Torres is somebody that said, I'm going to go for it. And really what he is not just an encouragement to me, but he's also an encouragement to you all. We're even all gathered, like 300 of us registered for this particular session because about, a year or two ago, Torres decided to say, you know what, I know that my call to deliverance and my call to help people learn the aspects and the ins and out of not just receiving deliverance, but also administering deliverance. I'm going to do what I can to take the gospel to everyone that's listening. And Torres has done a phenomenal job. So thank you, Pastor Brother Torres, for allowing me to be a part of your community and to share. I signed up for it. So when he reached out to me about being a part, I was like, oh, here it is. So I'm excited to dive in.
Evan, you signed up for my course, and Evan has launched 1 million successful e-courses and webinars.
And listen, the great thing about it is that I'm never above learning. And that's, if you don't listen to anything else I say from that point, please know you are never above learning. There's always somebody you can learn from, because I tell you this, there's somebody doing it well. And a lot of times doing something that you're not doing. And oftentimes the best way to learn is to be a part. Yeah, I knew how to set up an e-course, but guess what? I haven't had a 300 person webinar just yet. However, this being a part of this and seeing how this works, seeing how Torres marketed and how we had the images of you guys being a part of the course to get more people involved, I was taking notes. See how I did that, guy? Hope you guys are taking notes on that too. So, Torres, I want to make sure that I do this the best way that you have planned out. You want to just kind of flow, go? How do you want me to?
Yeah, let's just flow.
Okay, great. So one thing that I can tell you guys, I've been hosting online courses and webinars for a couple of years now, and to the glory of God, they've been relatively successful, but not all of them. There have been quite a few failures. And let me tell you something. My failures happened when I did not know who in the heck I was marketing to or who I was building these courses for. Let me say it again. If you want to know how to fail and to waste your money, your time, your resources, your intellect, and your creativity with an e-course or a webinar, it is to have one when you are not prepared or not clear or sure on who this is for. Now I got these notes down here with me. So Torres, please interject. You know, I'm a motivational speaker just like you. So it's like sometimes we can get a little going. And
motivational speaker, you're a preacher.
Motivational speaker, thank you. So one of the first things I have written down here, just to kind of walk you guys through this, because I want you all to be able to understand. Also, I get excited. If I get too excited and you want me to repeat something, tell me right there in the chat so I can make sure I stop and do that. Because most importantly, I want you all to walk away from night 3 knowing that building an audience is probably just as important as knowing what you're going to teach on, if not more. So the first thing, you find your audience by first finding you. Point number 1, you find your audience by first finding you. Let me tell you guys something about e-courses and e-learning and webinars, however you want to look at it. The goal should always be to make a difference. Let me say that again. Your goal with e-courses and e-learning and webinars, or however you want to put it, should always be to make a difference. And why do I say that? Well, first thing, the only thing, when you make a difference, you're bound and you're destined to make $1. Let me say this again. When you make a difference, you are destined to make $1. I see people who go into courses and go into the desire to host summits and workshops with the goal to make their rent money, make money for their next project. And honestly, I feel as though people can, this is a Christian webinar, right? Okay, well, those of us with the Lord on our side and something like the Holy Ghost active in our lives, sometimes we can look at something, discern based off of a flyer if this is a joke, if this is rushed, if this is borderline. I've been able to look at certain things and be able to say, you know what? I don't know if this individual should be hosting this, so I'm not going to invest in it. Serious thing. So that's my point. You always want to make sure, especially when you're doing this, especially with the e-course and the e-learning, because I'll tell you guys this. we are able, with e-learning, we're able to provide the information and the experiences and the wisdom and the insight to individuals, and they don't have to go get a $50,000 degree and be in debt for it. That's another reason why these things are important for us to dive into. Is most not for you just to make money, but for you to save somebody else money. I'll tell you all this: if I knew that I was going to be doing what I'm doing right now, I could have skipped a whole lot of stuff. I'm coming into agreement with the Senate and the bills they're trying to put through to get $30,000 of student debt erased, because I'm in debt for things that I honestly could have learned on YouTube if YouTube was popular then, or I could have learned simply just sitting at the feet of a mentor at this time. So if you didn't hear anything else I said, remember that your goal with e-learning is always to make a difference, and the dollar will find you. When it comes to e-learning courses, and I know this is a day and age where social media, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there. I'm sure Pastor Torres won't mind if I use him as an example. So one of the early resistance, early hurdles that Pastor Torres had to cross, even with launching his deliverance ministry and teachings, was that he had to be willing to be at the center of his entire operation. Hear me. If you're going to have a successful e-course, webinar, learning center, learning hub, you've got to be willing to be at the center of your operation. Now, of course, that's outside of Jesus being at the center of you, all that good stuff, but you've got to be willing to be at the center of it. And let me tell you guys why. People need a reference point. They need a face. Now, we see brand ambassadors when it comes to Nike, when it comes to Jordan, when it comes to Adidas, when it comes to L'Oreal Cosmetics, when it comes to cars. You are the brand ambassador for your learning hub. That's it. You know why? It's because people want to be able to look at you and say, you know what, whatever he or she is teaching, I can see that they've been able to apply that to their life, and I see fruit, AKA I see results, AKA you've got proof. You guys hear me? You've got to be willing to be at the center of that, because you've got to be willing to be the proof behind the pudding. You got to be willing to be the proof behind what you're teaching and what you're giving. Also, I want you guys to say this with me. It's going to make a whole lot more sense. Type it in the chat, say it out loud, scream it to the mountaintops. I tell myself this every day. Are you ready? I am a resource. Scream it. I mean, scream it in your house. I'm looking at some faces over here, so I want to see it come out your mouth. Type it in the chat. I'm a resource. Every time I say it, I get excited because it means a whole lot, and I'm going to explain some of it to you. I am a resource. Let me tell you why it's important that as you're launching into online learning and creating e-courses and webinars, why it's important for you to keep at the center of your operation, at the center of your heart and at your mind, is that you are a resource. Because resources always they're in motion, they're active, and people are always coming to the resource to get something from the resource. One of the great ways for your e-learning hub or your courses is for you to position in your mind, you are a resource. That means, bottom line, people are coming to you to get something from you. They're coming to you to get what you have. A resource knows that its function and its primary responsibility is to continuously give what it has. Now, why that's important for you in the e-learning community is because when a resource is giving all that it has continuously, that means you have individuals signing up for your courses, they're logging into or joining your subscription plans. That means in exchange for your wisdom, for your study time, for your knowledge, there are transactions, AKA you're making money because you're choosing to be a resource to somebody else continuously. Resources keep going. You guys got that? Resources keep going. So please add that to your daily affirmations. I am a resource. Okay, so let's jump on into defining your audience, or finding your audience, working with your audience, all that good stuff. Pastor Torres, if you have anything, let me know. Okay. So I want you to, I know you guys probably know this, and of course, because I know Pastor Torres has laid a great foundation the first 2 days, but I want to ask you this. Who do you want to help? So because we've already broken down the notion that you are a resource and that you first find your audience by finding you, I'm asking you a very simple question. Who do you want to help? Feel free to put your answer in the chat. You can write it down in your notebook. I want you guys to really take a moment to answer this. All right, Ms. Barnes, broken women, great. Who else has somebody? Who else has something they want to share or write down? Moms, that's awesome, Miss Julia. Writers, Miss Shirley, beautiful. Let's see, give me a few more. Young moms, awesome, Miss Nelson. Professionals, great, I love that. Give me one more and I'm gonna move on. Licensed cosmetologist, I like the specific. She was specific with that. Licensed cosmetologist, not those aspiring. English is a second language. Parents, those and young people discerning their call. Great. One of the great things I love about e-learning and put those in need of healing, those who are building. I like that one a lot. Is that your mom, Taurus? I think I almost tapped in on something. Okay, we'll come back to that. Why I asked you is who do you want to help? Because in a nutshell, if you want to have a successful course and a successful learning hub, you've got to be willing and you should be helping the you of yesterday. Did you hear that? If you want to have a substantial and impactful, a powerful e-learning hub, your focus should be able to help the you of yesterday. You know what that means? That means helping the you that pre-processed, pre-delivered, pre-salvation. You've got to be willing to help the you that needed help when you know that you needed help. All of this is a service, is a service-based ministry. We are doing this so we can provide a service to help somebody get to the next point, to the next place, to that next level. One of the greatest things you can do when it comes to an e-course is teach what you've endured, teach what you've overcome, and teach what you've mastered. I'm going to say that again. One of the strongest components of a strong and an effective e-course is teach what you have endured, because I'll tell you this, you guys have mastered the art of making it through some things, and somebody needs that. The next thing, teach what you have overcome. There are some things that you have just flat out championed. You made it out. You got a few scars, and that's pretty much it. And then there are a few things that you have just flat out mastered that you can do with your eyes closed, with your hands tied behind your back. Teach that stuff. You know why? Because that's the stuff that's knitted deep into the fabrics of who you are and the fabric of what, and there's nothing like talking about what you're passionate about. For example, my next webinar that I need to roll out is one on coaching. You know why? It's because you put me in front of somebody one-on-one. I mean, I come alive. I mean, no additives, no weed, no liquor, no music, none of that. That stuff that makes us like really just, whoo, you come to yourself. No, put me in front of a coaching session with somebody, I come alive. You know why? It's because I am working and I'm teaching off something and I'm doing what I should have done for the me of yesterday. And most importantly, I'm going through an area that I've endured in, that I've overcome, and that I have mastered. And because I've done all those three, it's starting to come from my heart. Trying to move through these. That's pretty good, guys? All good? Okay. One of the things that Pastor Taurus had out in the breakdown is that I'm sure you guys have a vague idea of who you're best suited to help. Ask yourself these few questions. What group do you understand better than anyone else? There's a specific reason I brought this up. What group do you identify? So we were pretty clear on how we listed those in the chat a couple seconds ago on this side about who we're called to service, the individuals. But why I brought that up is because often, everybody learns at different levels at different places. Somebody didn't quite catch that who they're called to individually. So what groups do you all consider that you'd be called to? Now, the answers would probably be the same, but I'm doing this because one thing I've learned in coaching is that everybody uncovers and processes information differently. It can be the same question, very simple question, but it needs to be asked a different way. So I want to process that. For anybody who did not catch hold to, hey, who are the individuals that you're called to? What are the groups that you're called to? And I want to specify that because I do believe this. Everyone is multifaceted. A lot of us we are stuck at, we find that one thing that we're good at and we say, whew, this is it. For example, whoever DL is probably just said she's called to women. But what types of women? What types of situations with women? What type of dynamics with women? It's a great example because often the underdogs, so the great Miss Lachey, the underdogs in what capacity? Are we talking about the underdogs who are fighting through cultural grounds? Or is it a poverty thing? Like, what are we trying, who are they? And I bring that up all because when it comes to e-learning and building courses and webinars, we've got to be laser focused and realize intentionality, and we've got to be specific. I mean, all the way down to the T. You got to know exactly who this is for. So if you're saying I'm doing something for teenage moms or for young moms, great. What age? Because a young mom can be anything under 30, depending on who you ask. So are we talking about 18 to 21? Are we talking about 21 to 25? Are we talking about 25 to 30? Because if you notice in those three brackets that I just made, they all have different challenges. The challenges of an 18-year-old mom may be a little different from the challenges of a 24-year-old mom. You know why? Because the 18-year-old mom may have just graduated from high school, but the 24-year-old mom may already have a college degree. You see how something as small as that really makes a huge difference, so you know exactly how to attack your point of interest, attack your audience, because your audience your audience has specific issues, and so we've got to provide specific solutions. Your audience will always have a very specific issue, so we've got to provide specific solutions. Okay, pretty cool. We got that. One thing I want to talk about with targeting and finding and locking into your audience, this is something that I've learned through trial and error, guys. Please, if you don't catch this, please catch this. The best thing you can do when it comes to advertising and pushing and establishing and connecting with your audience to have a successful course when it comes to the e-learning is to connect them to your story. So we've already figured out who our them is, who we're specifically going after and going into. One of the next thing you need to do is to connect them to your story. And you're probably saying, well, why my story? Because your story is the best thing that you could ever sell. Notice I didn't say tell. I said your story is the best thing that you, like you in this screen, could ever sell. I told you in the beginning. Now we're here to make a difference. And because our motive is to make a difference, we're destined to make $1. But even though we're destined to make $1 does not mean we have to do the normal work to be able to connect to that dollar. So the difference is great, check. Motive is right, check. However, we've got to be willing to position our story and position what we know, whether it's a good story, bad story, all of that. We got to put that right there in the forefront so that we can go from difference, your story to your audience, then dollar. It's kind of like an equation. Start off with the difference to make sure your motive is right. Hey, I want to make sure people know this to better themselves. I'm going to help them to understand this by way of giving them my story, giving them how I got here, what I'm doing. And with that, I'm going to let that be the vehicle for me to be able to make some additional funds to do whatever I want to do in my life. When it comes to giving people your story, that includes your success and your failures, the good and bad, even the indifferent. I will tell you all this, if you don't want to be open and honest and to share, you don't want to have a successful course or webinar. You've got to be willing to talk about the good and the bad. You know why? It's because people are on there looking for a solution. The last thing you want them to do is get on your webinar and feel as though they cannot connect with you. And if they decide in the first few minutes they cannot connect with you, they will totally either shut off, log out, request a refund, or even worse, they will tell somebody, I signed up for this webinar, it was a waste of my time. And now you have a word of mouth bad report floating around because these people were never able to connect with you because you weren't willing to give you. Like simply, you've got to be willing to give you a selling point. I'm gonna give you guys a marketing tool to leverage your sales, and it's gonna work. It's the truth though, and it's sometimes it's hard to do that because we're faith-based businesses, but business is business. Thank you. A successful course will always be tied to someone's pain. Remember that a successful course, webinar, however you want to look at it, will always be tied to someone's pain or the possible pain to come. Oh, yeah, somebody jump on in. Hear me, guys. You got that? A successful course will be tied to someone's pain or the possible pain to come. One thing that you have to do, hey, buddy, if you don't mind, could you put your thing on mute. I think your picture's in the middle for everyone. One thing that we have to note, pain sells. Pain is a connection point. I want you guys, I was telling one of my friends this the other day, I was going through some of my notes about some different things, and I kind of like, man, pain is have y'all realized in moments in time in life, you connected with the group of people because of your pain? At some point, your circle was a direct reflection of your dysfunctions, your daddy issues, your mama issues. It's some of those same principles are what happens when it gets into the business era, the business realm. People are looking for solutions. I want you guys to put this in the chat, say it out loud. People are looking for answers. People are looking for answers. People are looking for answers. But in order for there to be an answer, there must first be a question. People are looking for answers. But in order for there to be answer, there must first be a question. Most of the questions that a lot of people are having right now are connected to some sort of pain. Now, whether that pain is big or small, or some pain to come. You guys see that? That makes sense? I want to make sure it's making sense for you guys before I go on too far. Good. Okay, good deal. So I'll move on to the next thing. When we're talking about finding your audience, you have to be willing to share what you're deeply passionate about. You have to share your time in it. So one of the things that I like about Pastor Torres is that when he talks about, I took a deliverance course, I believe I passed. But one thing that he's open about in the first few sessions, that he talks about his own journey to and through and with deliverance. He allows you to step into his skin, into his life, and into his story. Because you know what happens in that moment? He becomes a trusted source. Because he says, you know what? I've laid it all on the table. I have needed deliverance. I have been preaching for years. I've been teaching for years. I've been casting the devil out for years. I still have to get the devil cast out of me every now and again. Like that part right there. That's the thing, guys. In a day and age where everybody desires to look perfect. Right now, everything is about perfection. I mean, even if it's not perfect, we're going to make sure it looks perfect, right? So what you do when you decide to give somebody your imperfections, you disarm them. You disarm them. And it's one of the most beautiful exchanges you could have when somebody literally takes the gun out of their hand when they're looking at you and they say, you know what? Here you go. Talk to me. Tell me what you know. I'm telling you, it's a transfer. It's a beautiful exchange that allows for so much to be had. We've got to be willing, especially at the beginning of our journeys when we're advertising our e-courses, as we're building our e-courses. And also, guys, this tip, even in the introduction of you in your e-course, your layout, your format, you need to be able to disarm them by giving them more of you. Why this is near and dear to you. You got to give that. Even before you launch the course and have people sign up for the course, start to give them that. We've got to be okay with showing people our scars. They have to know that we're not perfect. I'll tell you all this. So I suffered tremendously with this. God has been great to me my entire life. I got a great family support system. We got our issues and everything like that. And so when I started, I'm a pastor, and I used to do a lot of that stuff. And so once I transitioned into more of a business mindset and a business model, or a season of more business than ministry, I was in, I think I might need deliverance, Pastor Torres. You see how that, okay, got hot and everything. So listen, let me tell you guys, you got to, that was funny. Lost my train of thought for half a second. There we go. Okay, so when you start to shift, God, I think I really have a moment with that. Man, somebody remind me what I was saying, please, just so I can make sure I was on it. Somebody, anybody, real quick, so I don't lose my mind. Y'all laughing at me. Come on, y'all are laughing at me. I was trying to tell my story about family support. Yes, it was something else. What was right before that? Transitioning. I'm with you. Transition from ministry to business. Yeah, I lost myself in my notes. Oh, anyway, I was talking about the introductions to your webinars. You got to be more willing to give them your time in it. So that's what I was saying. So even before I launched my last e-course / webinar, I took a more transparent approach to my life, not just my business. So business is business to me. I got business degrees, I got certifications. I know how to do business, whatever. But I understand that because I am the center, as I mentioned, I am the center of this operation. If I want to start to attract more people, I've got to give them what's really at the center. So at the end of last year, I came to a resolve with God. I said, Lord, you can use me, have your way. Did one of those things on one Sunday morning. And then stuff started to change. And the Lord told me to start to open my mouth and to talk more about my life. I'm like, now, Lord, I'll do a pretty good job, but, I learned how to smile on the set, is what I call on it. Things may not be great, but I'm going to smile through it. I'm going to make sure everything's put together. That's how my parents raised me. That's how we were taught. And I look back at my life in that moment and realize I have been doing that for 29 years consistently, just smiling on the set, shoveling stuff under, pushing stuff to the side. And I said to myself one day, I wonder, is transparency going to be the one thing that starts to open up the floodgates with my webinar registrants? So I said, I'm going to try this out. I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to give you 45 days of this quote unquote transparency. When you kind of prompt me to do something or share something in whatever capacity, I'm going to offer no resistance to see if this is how this is working. Guys, I started to be more transparent about my journey. I made one Facebook status about transition. I made another one about smiling on the set. And I looked up, and my next webinar had 100 and something people, paid webinar, had 100 and something people on it. I said, now, Lord, for the last year and a half when I was mad at you and wasn't doing this right and I was doing it my way, I couldn't even get 30 people on. And then all of a sudden, and so in my survey, I said, how did you guys connect to me? Most of these people said to me, somebody shared your Facebook status about transition. So I started to follow you, then followed your business and saw that you were smart and could help me. That was literally the general consensus behind it. And I said, man, here I was trying to keep my business and my ministry separate, and boom, there it is. It's all one. How can that be? It's because you are at the center of your operation. So that means everything at the center, everything that makes you you has to be functioning and rolling the way it needs to be so that you can literally maximize your influence and touch all the lives you're supposed to touch. Because what happened in that moment for me, people who read my journey on transition, it's like, oh, he has a business, cool. Saw I had a webinar, they signed up for it saying, oh, you know what? Let's just see what he's talking about. Ended up getting their lives changed, getting some quality insight to start businesses and to really shift what they're doing and how they're doing. And it's like, it all started with me being willing to share where I was, to be the center of my operation and to let that thing be it. And that's the important part of building your audience if you don't hear anything else. Transparency. If you're not going to be transparent about the good, bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, get out. Don't start. Because in this day and age, people are looking for what, guys? Answers. There it is. Also, when it comes to your audience, now this may be for just for those. I did think this was a Christian webinar, so I'm damn sorry, Pastor Torres, if I keep calling you Pastor Torres. I was going to say this. For your group and for your people and for those you know that you are called to do and you're called to service, I will tell you this. If you don't have a burden for it, don't do it. You need to be, you have to sit up at night and say, Lord, how can I help these people? How can I help myself back then with tears in your eyes? I tell you all this, the heart behind what we do right now, business is great and it's good, but there has to be the right heart behind what we're establishing. Everything you guys listed on this chat, on this left-hand side it wasn't just business as usual. We had teen moms. We had healthcare professionals. What other kind of stuff did we have on there? We had single mothers. We had so many different heart causes. We had heart causes on this side over here that was being listed in this chat because we've got to go and we've got to do where the burden is. If there's no burden there, don't do it. Because this is the thing about it. The goal is to make a difference. I tell you all, I can beat that into any difference. Difference. We've got to get out of the dollar. The dollar ain't going to do nothing for you. We've got to be willing to say, you know what? I'm here to make a difference. I say it all the time. I'm here to make a difference. That dollar will come when it comes. But I've got to be willing to do what I got to do to make a difference. All right, now these next few things I took from Pastor Torres's breakdown. They're going to get a little bit more businessy, but I want to make sure you guys write these things down. So one of the bullet points he had was figuring out who your online course is for. So I think I've talked now about what to do as far as like gathering your audience, what you can give to them to further get them to connect with you. Now these next few points are going to be what you can do while you have your audience. So one of the things that I tell myself when I have my little online courses, let me not call them little, when I have my majorly impactful events or speaking faith, there it is, I have this thing in mind. I don't just look at it as a course. I say, you know what? I'm taking this thing from course to community. I'm taking this thing from course to community. Take your courses, and in your mind, they need to already be community. Now, on paper, on your flyers, it can be course. But in your heart and in your mind, it has to be community. People thrive and change and develop and refer people to communities.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
That's why we see things like the local church, fraternal and sorority, or people refer people to communities. You just cannot be in this thinking, I'm having a course. You're not having a course. And if you're having a course, good luck. But for us over here who are saying, you know what, this is a community. You all don't even see the power in which, like, in your mind, you probably think Pastor Torres just created a Facebook group so that he could replay the lives in there and you all could watch at your easiest or whatever you want to replay, however you want to do it. But no, what you all don't realize that you signed up for community for free. So what's going to happen after these 4 nights? Pastor Torres is going to be able to go in that group, give a little encouragement. But if you all do community the way that we're supposed to do community, the way we naturally do community, there will be dialogue, there will be partnerships, there will be friendships, there will be brotherhoods and sisterhood created from those saying, you know what? We hold each other accountable. When your course coming? Okay, you know what? What's your course on? Cool. I know somebody, and I don't sew, but I know somebody that sews. Let me send, community. You're not just building a course. If you think you're building a course, you've already capped out.
Yes.
Out at those registrations that you got. But when you say, I'm building community, now you've got people who are bought into your community. Hallelujah. And people learn better when they feel safe.
Yes.
People learn better when they know at the end of this, I can still come back to it. They're like, you know what? I love this. I'm in it. Thank you, Jesus. The next thing, very practical, how to grow. One of the tips that Pastor Torres used, and I think it's a great tip, and I want to expound upon a little bit more, is for growing your audience and growing your influence and your reach with a mini course. So for example, you all joined the 4-night How to Build an E-Course Challenge by Pastor Torres Solomon, right? And so after this, I'm pretty sure that Torres Solomon and has something for you. Now, you may not know what it is right now. I may not know what it is, but I guarantee you there's something coming on the other side of this. You know what this is? Now, in Vision Birthers land, aka Coach Ev land, I call it the bait and reel. It is my personal bait and reel method. So do you know what this does? With the bait and reel, it is simple as it says, bait, reel. You might not like to hear it like this, but when you threw that bait out with that free online course, guess what? Baited you. You bit. Got you in here. This content's been up. Night 1 was on fire. Night number 2 is amazing. Night number 3, I hope you're getting blessed. Night number 4 is still more to come. Boom. Now you're reeled in. And say, now you know what, Pastor Torres? You have blessed me. You have charged me. You have challenged me. You have opened up my mindset. You've opened up my perspective. I didn't even think I could. Now that I know that I can, what else is next? Bait and reel, guys. Your bait and reel tactics can be very simple. It can be something as simple as a Let me have a free course, give you guys a little bit, because I'll tell you what free courses do. Let me tell you what a free or a mini course does for a free or a lesser value price-wise. It allows you to display your level of wisdom and knowledge. A free course or an extremely discounted approach allows you to be able to display your level of wisdom, one, knowledge, two. And let me tell you something about the free course. This is the free third one. The free course lets people know that you're willing to be a resource. When they say, now this man or this woman and gave me this for free, they must have something else in the tank. They must have a lot more in the tank. You know what you are now to them? A resource. What do we open up by saying? Say this with me. I am a resource. When you take the bait and reel, especially that free route, you let them know, hey, you know what? I'm equipped. I'm enlightened. I got enough knowledge and stuff for you to give you this free. Because this free is going to blow your mind anyway. And you're probably thinking, what else could there be? Oh, there's always so much more when you're a resource. The great thing about being a resource, even as the resource, when you're not sure of what else is left, when you have fixated in your mind and your heart, I'm a resource, guess what? Something else is going to come. And it's going to show up fast. So please, guys, if you didn't hear anything, that bait and reel method, bait and reel, hook them with something discounted or extremely free. And what you do, extremely free, extremely discounted and or free. And of course, the principle of that is you allow them to see you allow yourself to be displayed as wise, full of wisdom, full of knowledge, and especially with the free, that you desire to be a resource. I tell you all this the same way I tell my authors with my publishing company that a business course or a webinar can come and go, but a resource will last forever. A resource you come back to. The Bible is a resource. It is not just. Excuse me. Here it is again. I will tell you. So, guys, I have a publishing company. I don't even let my authors call their manuscripts books, because if you wrote a book, you ain't supposed to be working with me. I'm all about resource. I literally engrave in their hearts and minds from the first meeting. Stop calling this a book. This is a resource. You know why? Because people come back to resources time and time and time and time again. Y'all get that? Awesome. Well, Pastor Torres, I do wanted to ask, can we do question and answer? If anybody has any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I love Q&A.
So guys, I'm done with my sharing. I do want to share something with you guys after we do question and answer, but I do want to open up the floor for some questions. So please type them in the chat, and I want to make sure I answer those. Ask away. I'm not sure how much time we have, but Pastor Torres will let us know. And let's ask him. Let's get it while the get is good, because Coach Ev is here for the free tonight. Any other time, you had to pay the hour fee. So
yes, thank you. This is a great time, y'all. Evan is a website builder. Evan is Coach Ev is a website builder. He is a marketing guru. He's a graphic designer. He's all of that stuff that I'm not. So you definitely need to ask him.
Okay. First question, Miss Scott. How did you know what topic to start with? You start with what you're most skilled in or with, or on the flip side of that, what the Lord has told you to start with. I have to keep that part in there, because my first webinar was not with my most skilled area. However, certain skills were developing, but the Lord was allowing me to get my feet wet and to get in and get comfortable. So I would say, Ms. Scott, utilize your first topic as one of the ones you're more comfortable with, but it may not be your big ticket item. So for an example, a lot of us, your big ticket item you may be able to pull, which I think every course, if you're going to do an online course, should be at least 4 to 6 weeks. Your first course should not be 4 to 6 weeks. Your first one should be, because this is the thing about it, you've got to get in and get comfortable. So you may have to do a little webinar, a one-time, a 2-hour event on a Friday or a Saturday. But your course, because what happens in the course, if somebody registers for a course and you're in there and you're not solid or confident in the information and the content, they're going to unenroll. They're going to ask for their money back, and they're going to give you a bad review, AKA tell somebody else that you're not good. So if you're not comfortable in the aspects of teaching a course, because this is the thing about it, it sounds easy and it sounds good, but it's not. You've got to develop curriculum. You've got to develop homework assignments, because this is the thing about it. People are coming to learn, not just to look at you be cute. They're coming to learn. So I hope that helped, Ms. Scott. This next question. As a resource, do you suggest developing an outline before you give a mini course? Absolutely. An outline, if nothing else, for you. So I'll tell you guys, it's one of the things that I do with my bait and reel stuff, especially when I do something free. I'll do my stuff. I'll have like my outline for my notes. So mine is on my iPad for this. So I would still do the same thing, depending on the topic or depending on what I have planned. I may or may not offer my note sheet, quote unquote, as a free tool, because my goal is I'm making a difference, but I'm letting you know that I am skilled and I am certified and I am prepared to help you. And most of my things, I want to be able to have a conversation with you. Now, there's some times I've had a whole presentation, I just give it away. I'm like, hey, you know what? Sign up for the free webinar. Thanks so much for being here. Boom, you get the PowerPoint, everything. But then sometimes, depending on what the goal is, the plan is for what's coming out of that, that may not be what I would do. If you don't have a good video, live in-person personality, what are some ways to engage and captivate your community? I don't want to lose people being corny. Mr. Bryant, let me tell you something. You may not ever guess this, but I am the corniest person in the world. I've been doing this 3.5 years now, so I've learned how to become a little bit more comfortable and to save my jokes, because I'm going to laugh at them. Most of the time, you guys are not going to laugh at them. But I will tell you this, Mr. Bryant. It may be corny to you, but to most people, corny is pure. You know why? Because you are being your authentic self. You're being quirky, you're being nerdy. Somebody may be like, oh my God, you're lame, but then somebody's gonna be able to say, you know what? Okay, I can trust him. He's not trying to, what do the used car salesmen do? They're not trying to smile at you and then wink and do all that smooth stuff that kind of makes you be like, I don't even know what I just bought. You know, so I would say, Mr. Bryant, be true to you. If you're corny, open up with your little corny jokes. Somebody gonna laugh. Somebody's not gonna laugh. But guess what? At the end of the day, they're already on your webinar.
Can I say something, Evan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to that point as well, you want as many people as possible, but you are going to, once you develop an audience, you're gonna have to cultivate that audience. Yes. That means that you're not for everybody. You're not. Everybody don't like my type of deliverance. Everybody don't like my craziness. Some people think I play too much. Some people don't like, but that's okay. I'm not for them. You have to be okay with being who you are, and who you are is going to draw the people that you need to influence.
Well said. To me, Ms. Graham, Tanisha Graham, can the mini course be just one day? Yes. Now, I will tell you all this. I would have never referred somebody or suggested somebody to do a bait and reel for 4 days. Now, Taurus showed me something with this, which is why I registered. I said, this man giving away 4 days worth of content.
It's a revival, changing lives out here.
There it is. But honestly, I've been doing this, and even my mentors say, you know, your baits, your mini courses, 1 day. Give them a handout, send them an email, send them a follow-up email, send them a video. Not 4 days. So even that made me say, you know what? He's doing something a little different. He's willing to go outside of the box and to go for it, whatever it may look like. Because I tell you guys this, we may have some surefire practical ways for us, but for you, what you're prompted to do, what you're led to do, it may be totally out of the box. But let me tell you something. There are a few wrong answers, but that is not one. So go for it. But you always have to be able to, the big thing about that is making sure that you scale your content down so that if you're going to have a master class or a master course or a 6-week course after the mini course, that you're not recycling information, because somebody will remember that bad review. Now you got a negative connotation, and then you have negative conversations around your teachings and your school or your courses. Would your free course be more taste for your full course? Would your free courses be more of a taste of your full resource? How long should your courses last? Yes, every course should be, I think a successful course should be between 4 to 6 weeks, 3 weeks if you know, depending on what it is, but at least 4 to 6 weeks, because you have to remember, everyone has a different learning style. Their retention levels are different. It's just like school. You know, and then also we're adults, we have kids, we have families, we have responsibilities. We don't always have 8 hours a day to sit down and to study. So we have to space these things out so that the information can actually be retained, because we're doing this to make a difference, not just to make a dollar. Wait, did I scoop? I think I moved past something. I'm so sorry. Yeah, your free courses can be a taste. I've done free courses that had nothing to do with what I was getting ready to roll out. But one thing about this, I tell you guys this, I tell my people that I coach, business-wise and personal, people have to see you doing what you say you do. You say you're a coach, we need to see you coaching. You say you're a teacher, we need to see you teaching. You say you're a prophet, we probably should see you prophesying. You say that you operate in deliverance ministry, we should see some form of that. You say that you're a preacher, we should probably see you preaching. You say that you're a singer, we should probably hear you or see you singing. Real simple, but just kind of making sure that you have to give people a taste of what it is. But often, sometimes, because Julia, I guarantee this, Miss Julia, your last name's Content, you're full of content. So you're full of wisdom and insight. So there are a couple of things that you could probably pull out to teach, like a one-pager, just to kind of give people something, another side of you. And then boom, you come back next week with the thing that matters the most to you, or what's, I guess, on your docket for this season.
I want to speak to that too, especially when we're talking about mini courses. The reason it's sometimes better to do the tradition. So the traditional way to give bait, like Evan said, is do a one day thing. But that's if you're really just trying to do a course. When you really want to build a community and you really want to build a safe space for people to not only learn information, but grow with you, to add to that community, to learn from each other. I felt like the four-day challenge was a better fit, because what we're giving you, this information is information that is not common information, but this is the foundation of it. Mm-hmm. There is a whole nother way to build systems. There's a whole nother way there. We've given you the overview, but there's a whole another level that is detailed oriented, that is showing you do's and don'ts. That is what I call the next step. So in your mini course, you want to give people, you want to whet your appetite. I think in the first 2 nights, I did a good job of whetting you all's appetite about moving into e-learning in some form. Mm-hmm. I showed you the possibilities. I showed you the opportunities that were there. And now now I've even given you platforms. I've given you free information to start getting your appetite whet. Now, after you have that, you're going to be looking for more. Now that's your goal. Your goal is to always whet their appetite and lead them to more.
Yes, well said. JD Richards, is it good to do video online course or to do it live? It depends on the person. So I do both. I have been pre-recording content all during this Corona break, because I have my Vision Institute getting ready to launch out. Thank you, Pastor Torres. And so what I chose to do is, because I do a lot of online things, a lot of live things, to do some things pre-recorded that are more so for ease, but it really also depends on presentation style. So because naturally I'm a preacher, I can speak and give you 3 points in the close and won't always need a PowerPoint. However, there are some topics that I'm talking about business-wise that I have to have a presentation, because I want you all to be able to see the diagrams, see the breakdown, so that you can actually say, you know what, there's a visual. You can go back to that PowerPoint and just kind of go with the PowerPoint. So it depends on what your presentation is, also the type of information and content that you're giving out. Is it something somebody can take some notes in like they're at church, or is it something somebody wants to go, that you would think they would need to go back and rewatch the go along with the PowerPoint, see the graphs, see the information, see the content, blase, 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 like that. Ms. Nelson, I've been thinking about this all wrong. I just repented. Hey, glory to God. Ms. Johnson, is starting a blog.
Pastor Helen Johnson.
Pastor Helen Johnson from All Nations?
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, I like her. Starting it with the blog, a good way to draw and build an audience, with the ultimate goal moving them towards webinars and online classes. So let me give you my philosophy, Pastor Johnson, about the online blogs. So now, and I know the age demographics may be a different thing depending on who your target audience is. I know a lot of individuals under the age of 30 who we have this made up thing called ADHD. I think it's made up. I think it's a lack of focus and attention. So doing a blog may not be the best way to, a written blog may not be the best way to capture the attention of those, of those in that demographic, but it depends on who your target audience is, because it's the thing, Pastor Johnson, I read because I have to. Then I have peers who read because they love to. My mom reads because she loves to. So my mom will probably read an entire blog, and me, I'm speed reading. Can you raise your point? Raise your point. So it depends on who you're going to, who and what your content is and who it is for. But you cannot go wrong with using a blog to share your thoughts. Also, using a written blog is often easier to communicate in full, because standing in front of a camera is not always easy at all, and often you got nerd, all that stuff is real. So you can start with the written blog, but I would honestly, if you're going to start with the written blog, it needs to be consistent so that your readers can learn your voice, become one with you. And so when you start to put a face to your voice, they can go, okay, you know what? I've been reading Pastor Helen's Ever Heard Information. I've been reading her blogs. I'm one with what she's talking about. It makes sense. It's been convicting me. It's been challenging me. It's been correcting me. Okay, great. Oh, she's doing a course. It would be great to be a part of something live that she's done, because I've already connected to her soul through words. I hope that helps. How do you get past fear of going live, but you have no problem doing recorded videos? That's a gem, because I have a harder time with the
opposite, right?
Yeah, with the pre-recorded videos than I have to do with the live, because of course the live, even if it's not in this format where I can see you all's faces, it's still a little tougher. And I'll even be honest, it's still hard to do it when you can see people's faces. So generally on some of my webinars, I can't see anybody's face. I just see the chat and I know that they're there. And that's why we engage in the chat. But here, I could like scroll down on the side and see some of you all's faces. And like, some of you all have not looked very happy or enthused about what we've talked about. So it can be a little intimidating, but you have to do this. Miss Lachey, you have to keep in mind, I'm doing this because I'm making a difference. The Bible says, don't be afraid of men in their faces. But you honestly just have to just push through, because at the end of the day, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. I promise you, you saw some of my stuff from the first 6 months to a year. Even preaching now, doing this, it was like, whew. But now it's like, you know what? I'm here. I'm confident in my information. I know this is going to help you if you apply it. Let me just do my part and get this to you the best way that I can so that you can apply it. And then in 30 minutes or less, it's going to be over anyway.
And another thing, it really depends on whether you do pre-recorded content or live content. It really depends on also the topic. If you're teaching on a topic that's very new to people, that's very very hard to grasp, I love the live content because you get to answer questions. I'm a preacher, so I love to be able to see people's faces, and it depends on your personality. I love to be able to scroll through and be like, some of y'all looking crazy. Is everything okay? You know, I like that kind of stuff because it makes me feel like I'm in a classroom environment. But you really have to do what works best for you. For me, I'm forcing myself to move into pre-recorded content because I have to start monetizing my time differently. So a live video takes different types of time and investment than a pre-recorded video does, that people can go on their own pace. So
yeah. Ms. Yolanda Johnson, how do you balance not oversaturating your target audience but making them aware of your resources? I'm going to make sure I'm answering this right, Ms. Johnson. So my opinion on that, there is no such thing as oversaturating your target audience, because your target audience, you're just giving them what you know. So for example, I tell and this is right here is Evan's approach, because I believe that if this is my niche and this is what my purpose is, I am for those who I am for. And when I do this, I am not just doing it for those that are already in my community or in my circumference. I'm also doing it for those who are going to see this for the first time. So with that being said, my approach is that you can't oversaturate your target audience, because all you're really doing when you're giving them information and wisdom and insight, you are really positioning yourself as a subject matter expert. Subject matter expert. Remember that term. So The more information you give, the more wisdom you share, the more accurate your stuff is. You begin to situate yourself in people's minds and hearts and in their thoughts as a subject matter expert. And we all know we trust an expert.
And I think another way to do that is the frequency of the information that you send out. So people are moving away from emails, getting numbers, and maybe doing a once a month text type of situation. That's how, if you ever follow Hart Ramsey built his whole following by doing every Monday texts, giving away free information. So
I was getting those in college 10 years ago. Just
yeah. So you just have to figure out who you're going to target and decide on the frequency, and that sometimes requires research. So if you know who your demographic is, research. Look at find out when are they online, when are they researching stuff, when are they opening emails. This is the purpose for the analytics in MailChimp and Constant Contact and Facebook analytics, even just to find out when the people, or even Instagram is doing really good at it and getting even better. Just finding out when are the people that follow you and your audience, when are they online, and trying to gauge what's too much for them. And don't take people unsubscribing from you personally.
Don't.
Please.
Don't, because it's not always personal. I've had people unsubscribe from me and text me, your little write-up made me feel terrible about myself. It convicted me, so I'm coming off your list.
Yeah.
How can I take that personal? Can't, Next question from Faith. In gathering your audience apart from consistency and free mini courses, what else can be done to attract those you are called to be a resource to? Social media content. That is one of the easiest ways to grow your audience, expand your audience, but it's a very natural thing. Just give them what you know. Give them your wisdom. Tell you guys a free tool right now, Twitter. So when Twitter first came out, it was like, Twitter. Then we had Instagram, and then we had Snapchat. Then we went back to Instagram. Now we are at TikTok. I'm missing one. I don't know. But right now, Twitter, I'm going to tell you why. Is because in those 140 characters, you're able to give your wisdom. What that does, it starts to diversify your content. I'm going to show you guys a prime example of that. So I got tired of trying to do personalized quote templates for every bit of wisdom that I had. I'm like, even though I do this and I have a team of designers that work for me, this is hard work. I said, how can I get this stuff out when I'm just thinking in my bed at 12 o'clock at night? Because it's improper for me to email some of my team members or text them because they have families, they have husbands, they have wives. I'm not going to do all that. So what do? I said, I'm going to start tweeting. And what I've been able to do is like this little tweet right here. It'll be a quote. It'll be something that I've been given. And guess what? It has my picture on it. It has my handle on it. Now I'm able to put this on my different profiles. It diversifies my content, but allows me to still give wisdom. And guess what? It trains for those who are following you, who are used to seeing your quote templates or used to seeing you give wisdom one way. It diversifies the way you can give wisdom. And also, these things are a little bit easier to share. More people will read your tweets than sometimes will read your full Facebook statuses or like your photos. So have a little fun with how you give off your information and your content. Like, enjoy the journey. I want to say that. Enjoy giving what you have, because at the end of the day, you're doing it to make a difference. And so it's almost like, how do I make this happen so that everybody is not too boring or not too consistent? Let me just find funky, fresh ways or just different ways to diversify what I'm putting off, because I know my goal is to get people in. That tweet was a blessing. Oh, glory to God. I have a Twitter, but it doesn't get a lot of traffic. Miss Graham, that's great. My Twitter, I think I have 100 followers on Twitter, and most of them are from college. So, but I don't use it for that. I use it just more so I can use that tweet on like Facebook and Instagram. You know why? Because I get more traffic on Facebook and Instagram. Also, remember this, different platforms are used for different things. Twitter is for a tweet, 140 characters, that's it. Instagram is designed for pictures. So having too many words on Instagram is the best way for your followers and those that are looking at it to not read it, because it's designed for pictures. Facebook is designed for more of your words. That's why you have the option of a status. You have a Facebook status, Instagram post. Status is more wordy. Post is literally a post, a picture. Tweet, you're tweeting out your thoughts. So keep that in mind when you're posting. If you're noticing you're not getting a lot of engagement on certain things on certain platforms, it's because certain platforms are designed for certain things. Instagram is more picture, now more video. So that's why people get on Instagram. They don't read your long captions. I mean, it could be the Lord himself could have spoke that word, but guess what? That word on Facebook, go through the roof. I mean, 300 shares, 1,800 comments. Instagram, you got 5 likes and no comments. Free tip for social media.
Guys, can you show your appreciation to Coach Ev for tonight's webinar? Y'all, this is my brother. We have been through the trenches together, and just to see what yes, we have. Just to see where y'all are so amazing. I wanted to say I love the energy you all have been giving every night for this this entrepreneur revival. Glory to God. Evan, I was laughing so much because every night I've literally been doing the same thing. I'm not preaching. I'm trying to, I'm not preaching. So, you know, but everything that you've taught tonight has been valuable information. I think Evan has a special for us, doesn't he?
Oh,
so
yeah,
Evan is a website builder. I told all of you who are serious about building websites, what are you waiting on? You need to go to where, Evan?
Visionbirthers.com. So, guys, I'll tell you all this. When I first started my business 4 years ago, I could not afford to pay somebody $3,000 for a website. I'm like, I don't even know if I like my business enough. Why would I pay that much for this? You know? And so I taught myself, and over the last 3 years, God has been so faithful. I have an amazing team of 4 people that work alongside of me to make Vision Birthers do what it is and make it happen. So what I told Pastor Torres when he reached out to me earlier about being a part today, I was like, hey, man, I know you guys are doing the e-course, and he talked about kind of like give you guys some resources to establish your landing pages. And I'm telling you, as a business owner and a business coach, it is important for you to have a virtual headquarters. A website is not just a website, it's a virtual headquarters. Yes. It is the one-stop shop for people to go and get all the information they need about you or what it is that you do. So it's important. It doesn't always have to be a full state-of-the-art 10-page website. Sometimes a landing page is it. For any of you guys that may travel, get into actual businesses where you need a DUNS number, which is like your business credit number, you have to have a website to even apply for it. They have to verify that you are existing and in operation. So I told Pastor Torres that I wanted to do something special for you all because I know he was giving you all information on how to build your landing pages and get some stuff out there. And if anybody knows how much of a headache that is, it's me. And so what I want to do for you all as a token of my appreciation for Pastor Torres allowing me to be a part, my company does websites. We've been doing websites for the last few years. We've done websites for some of everybody, from counselors to doctors to dentists to gospel artists to churches, everything. And so I would like to offer a standard landing page to you all. So I know how much of a headache it is sometimes to position yourself out there. So listen, if you guys do the landing page, let me know. Go to my website or shoot me an email at info@visionbirthers.com. And you can say, make the subject tourist sent me. And what we'll do is that we'll create you a custom standard landing page for your website. And this can be your virtual headquarters for your online course platform or for your whatever it is you're doing now while you register for this course. And what that will encompass, we'll just need your logo, your photo, your description of your business, your service, your email address, your brand colors, MailChimp. And you just send the email, my admin will let you know what all is needed. We want to do that for you guys today for the special price of $179. Now, God has been faithful. Our websites are a lot more expensive than that, but because I believe in Torres, I appreciate Torres. And I'm thankful for what he does and what he's even provided to me. I had a prophetic consultation with Pastor Torres to start off this year because I said, I need to confirm the direction that I'm going full speed ahead in. And I was like, either the Lord gonna have to tap my pastor in the middle of this service and tell him to tell me, or Tor's gonna have to have a session with me. And so I was like, I'll take both. and I got both, but I needed that. And Tor's was able to give me a lot of confirmation on what I needed to be working towards. And I have been going full steam ahead this year at some of those things to make my life and my business get to what it's supposed to be and do what it's supposed to do. So again, I would love to offer this to you guys. You can send me an email at info@visionbirthers.com. The subject can be Pastor Torres sent me, and what I'm going to offering is $179 for a landing page. So that landing page will be one page. Let me specify that, not a full website, but that way it'll encompass all the information that is needed for anybody that is looking to be a part or to connect with you. So it'll have your built-in, your MailChimp, or if you want to use another newsletter software, we'll have a space for you to collect email addresses, give out your description, introduction to who you are, what your company is, or what your business is. And we'll make sure we lay it out for you good, because this is my thing. As believers and kingdom people, we've got to be ready and to put our things out there in a great place. So again, email me, info@visionbirthers.com. Please notify that Torres sent me. Now, my admin's probably going to scream if y'all email her tonight, because I forgot to tell her about this before. So just send it now. I'm going to text her and get up. Don't be alarmed, because if not, she'll be like, what is this? But I appreciate her and what she does. Well, yeah, just send that information to me. We'll get you an email back with what we need, but we definitely, the offer will be valid. Let's see. I'll give it in, what's today? The 27th. We'll make it until April 4th. I'll do it until April 4th, since I know that pay periods like are different. So just, if anything, shoot the email, send the email whenever you have a moment, so that way we can at least get the information going into you, and then my admin can set up all the payment and all that stuff like that, invoices and everything. So yeah, we'll build them through Wix, so that way they're easy for you all to navigate and easy for you guys to maintain and manage. I tell you all this, and I'm screaming to the mountaintops. If anybody ever offers you a website in WordPress, run and say no.
Tell them, I've been trying to tell them for 2 days. WordPress,
they're the devil, and you don't want to do business with them.
WordPress is the devil.
I'm so serious, guys. Please, as a business owner, if you don't have a degree in coding and design, never invest in a WordPress website. Please, please, please. It is the most confusing. And I do this all the time. And I'm like, it's limited in its creativity and its options. It's not designed for the everyday person. So just remember that. No WordPress, and that you're a resource.
Love you, Pastor Helen.
Yes. And also, if you guys have any more questions about what I do, you can find resources, all that kind of stuff on my website. I would love to connect with you guys. You guys have been such a blessing. You can buy your domain on GoDaddy, but do not build a website through GoDaddy. Buy your domain on GoDaddy. Yes, your domain is your www.shondasteam.com, but do not build a website through it. I would encourage any business owner, small business owner, especially, to build it through Wix. And I'm going to tell you why you should build it through Wix, because you can add certain things like event portals. Like, I'll tell you, my website is through Wix. And so I don't use, Eventbrite. I don't use any of those additional ticketing websites. All of my stuff is through one channel. My store is through that channel. My events are through that channel. Squarespace is not bad. It's just limited in a lot of creativity. So I said that to say, guys, send the email. But I do it in Wix, most importantly, because it's user-friendly and you guys can manage it after I'm gone.
Yes.
I want you all to invest in a website and have something that you can't do anything with. And if you can't do anything with it, at least have a niece or a nephew or a little cousin, because they can get on the computer and just keep typing and their stuff is going. So do you recommend us to cancel our work?
Unless you have listen, I'm with Evan. My first website was, I paid somebody $500 to build it. They built it in WordPress. I could not update it when I wanted to update it. I couldn't get the colors I wanted. It was just really crazy. So I switched I told them, destroy it. And I built my own website through Weebly, which is a lot like Wix. Mm-hmm. Weebly was just better for me. But listen, please listen to Evan. Please jump on this special. This is what being a part of the community, being a part of a community is like. It pays to know people. So you definitely want to jump on this special. Don't think about it. You're finna get this stimulus check from Trump. Take $179, put it to the side. You get paid. You probably got paid today. Put it to the side. You need a website.
You do. Oh, somebody called me a prophet. I told you I was a prophet. I've been telling people I'm a prophet all day. Thank you, Corey Roberts. Whoever you are, man of God, you are tapped in.
You are nuts.
I've been telling all day. I'm a prophet, y'all. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, I got it. I can feel it. My hands get this doing this and stuff.
So listen, I'm excited, y'all. Tomorrow night is the final night of the revival. On tomorrow night, I have been in prayer. I have decided to do something that I'm going to announce to you all tomorrow night. It's going to be limited slots, only for a limited time. So, yes, Evan is corny. he's hilarious though.
I told you, too long, I was going to eventually have to just kind of ooze out.
So y'all, this has been great. Evan, thank you so much. This has been phenomenal. I'm really excited that you were able to come on and share with us. Y'all, if you've listened to me for the first 2 nights, you've already set up your MailChimp. You need your website. Please don't hesitate. Evan is amazing. You can go to his website and even look at some of the people. I think you have a portfolio on there. Look at some of the people.
Or if you have Instagram, you can check on my Instagram, Vision Births, I Birth Visions, or I am Evan Brown. We're all in there. But yes, it's on the site too.
Go check it out. Yeah, I've enjoyed y'all. Evan, thank you again. Keep an eye on your email. There's something coming after this. I hope you all are learning all of this information and enjoying it. Please go to your Facebook pages, your Instagram pages, and share this information. So go take a picture of this live, take a picture of your notes, take a picture of something, and let people know that you have been blessed by the ministry of Prophet Evan Brown.
Hey!
Yo, Shaw. All right. Great. On that note, I love y'all.
And the Lord says the
all right. Well, we'll see y'all tomorrow night.
Ooh, say it again. I like this. I love this chat. What time is service tomorrow?
Service tomorrow night.
I like this church.
Yeah.
Whatever I want to be. Oh, I think that Pastor Torres has left the building. Well, I'll go ahead and close this out, guys. Thank you so much for being a part. Don't forget to rewatch the replay, take your notes, and then don't forget to be looking out for your emails from Pastor Torres. Going to be sending some more information about what's going to happen on tomorrow, and also get into the Facebook group and let everybody know how great of a session they missed, and to make sure they watch the replay tonight with the Zoom link. So, love you guys. I love you, Pastor Torres, and thank you guys.
Wait. I want to tell y'all something else. Tomorrow night, my mama is going to be my guest professor. So my mother she has a bachelor's degree in adult education and a master's degree in instructional technology. She's going to be talking to us about building curriculum. Now, if y'all think I'm crazy, this is my first time teaching with my mama. So I don't just brace yourself. But this is gonna be great. My mother is a HR guru. She has like 20 years. She's the director of human resources for one of the largest nonprofits in Georgia. She has experience in staffing, in higher ed. She is like, adult education is her thing. So I was thinking about building curriculum and just like, well, who taught me to build curriculum? Who taught me human resources? Who taught me administration? My mother is a detail-oriented person. So you want to tell everybody, I'm going to post a flyer. I need you to share it. I want everybody to know that I'm in revival and my mother is the guest apostle on tomorrow night. And it's going to be amazing. So curriculum building is super important, y'all. And again, this is free. So there's going to be glory after this. All right. Love y'all. Share it with the world.